Have you ever said something to your dog in an unfamiliar tone, a question, an unusual word, a higher pitch than your normal voice, and watched its head tilt to one side, instantly and almost reflexively? You have probably found it charming without ever wondering what is actually happening inside the dog's head at that exact moment. Researchers studying this behavior seriously have found something more specific and more interesting than simple cuteness. The head tilt is not random, and it does not appear equally across all dogs in all situations. It correlates, in documented research, with something considerably more specific: how much language a given dog actually understands. A study conducted by researchers at a Hungarian university, working with a group of dogs whose owners had already identified as unusually skilled at learning and responding correctly to specific spoken words, tracked head-tilting behavior during structured testing involving spoken commands and object names. The dogs in this study that tilted their heads most frequently and most consistently were overwhelmingly the same dogs that had been independently identified through separate testing as understanding the largest working vocabulary of distinct words. But here's the surprising truth. This correlation suggests the head tilt is not simply a charming, meaningless reflex at all. It may be functionally tied to how a dog processes and attempts to extract meaning from sound, particularly speech. Sounds carrying specific information the dog is actively trying to identify correctly. One leading explanation involves sound localization and visual processing working together. A dog's ears can rotate independently and are highly sensitive to extremely small differences in the timing and angle of incoming sound, which is part of why dogs hear so many sounds humans cannot detect at all. Tilting the head changes the relative position of both ears, potentially helping the dog pinpoint the exact direction a sound, or a specific word, is coming from with greater precision. A second, complementary explanation suggests the tilt may also help clear the dog's own muzzle out of its direct line of sight toward the speaker's face, allowing the dog to see mouth movements and facial expression more clearly while simultaneously processing the sound itself, combining auditory and visual information for a more complete read of what is being communicated. Think of it like a person instinctively leaning forward and angling their head slightly when straining to understand someone speaking quietly or in an unfamiliar accent. An unconscious adjustment made specifically to improve both hearing and lip reading simultaneously, without the person necessarily being aware they are doing either. So if the head tilt is tied this closely to comprehension, why don't all dogs tilt their heads equally often, regardless of how much vocabulary they actually understand? The answer, as is often the case with behaviors linked to comprehension and attention, comes down to motivation and engagement, varying considerably between individual dogs and individual moments, not just raw vocabulary size alone. A dog that is distracted, anxious, or simply uninterested in actively parsing what a person is saying at a given moment has less reason to engage the same focused listening behavior that produces the tilt, regardless of how large that dog's overall vocabulary might be in other contexts. The tilt appears to reflect active, engaged, attempting to understand in the moment, rather than functioning as a fixed trait some dogs simply have and others lack entirely. So, the next time your dog tilts its head while you are speaking to it, you will know you are not simply watching an appealing, meaningless reflex. You may be watching a dog that is actually working, in that exact moment, to extract specific meaning from the sounds coming out of your mouth, using ears, eyes, and a small postural adjustment that genuinely correlates with how much of what you are saying it actually understands.